Welcome back to Gun Man Ballistics. A lot of shooters still scratch their heads wondering why the United States Army decided to crown the Sig Sauer P320 as its new service pistol instead of sticking with the legendary Glock 19. The move wasn't just about raw specs or tight groups on paper. It was a gamble on flexibility and forward-thinking design, one that stirred up plenty of controversy. Now, Glock has long been a household name, praised for toughness and carried by countless police forces around the world. Yet somehow it found itself outpaced. The Sig P320, with its fresh approach and modular frame system, offered a level of adaptability that matched the Army's shifting demands. But was that really the smarter choice? In this breakdown, we'll cut through the hype and reveal why the Army turned its back on Glock, and why plenty of folks think it was a boneheaded move. Why retire the Beretta M9? The Beretta M9 had been the Army's sidearm of choice since the late 1980s, but nothing lasts forever. The biggest problem: those pistols were simply aging out. But the Army didn't just want a replacement, they wanted an upgrade across the board. The new sidearm had to shoot straighter, hit harder, and stay reliable under punishment. On top of that, they wanted a pistol platform that wasn't chained to a single caliber, and one with modular parts to adjust for mission roles, different grip sizes, and even gear like lights, lasers, and suppressors. Back in early 2013, the Army kicked off its search by studying the latest handgun tech and evaluating what the American arms industry had on the table. Their standards were anything but low. The new handgun had to be able to smack a 4-inch target at 50 meters with precision, while still being ergonomic enough for every soldier, whether they had small or large hands, weak grip or strong. As for ammo, the Army didn't lock themselves into one chambering, but set a benchmark. The pistol had to perform at least on par with their trusted M82 9mm ball loads. They were also interested in designs that could handle higher pressures without shaking apart. Beyond accuracy and power, the new pistol had to prove its durability, long service life, thousands of rounds between malfunctions, and minimal stoppages. And the request wasn't just for the handgun itself. They wanted the whole package: firearm, ammunition, holsters, magazines, and support gear. In short, the Army was looking for either a two-gun answer, one compact, one full-size, or a single modular platform that could cover both roles. The makers who stepped into the ring. When it came time to crown the next military sidearm, the competition turned into a heavyweight brawl. A dozen companies worldwide entered their best pistols, all chasing the chance to replace the Beretta M9. This wasn't some casual trial. It was a $17 million showdown. 8 designs survived into the later stages of the contest, with 6 of them standing out in particular. Sphinx SDP Compact. The Swiss Chris Group brought forward their Sphinx SDP Compact, a hybrid of steel and polymer heavily inspired by the legendary CZ75. Available in compact and subcompact configurations, this pistol featured interchangeable grip modules and fully ambidextrous controls. While it gained some traction with law enforcement and select military units overseas, it remained a rare sight on American ranges. STX-Detonics. Then came STX-Detonics Defense, who partnered with STI, famous for their competition pistols, to present the STX. This entry was notable for its full metal chassis and unmatched modularity. Soldiers could swap between 4 different barrel and slide assemblies, shifting from full size to compact as needed. It also used a modular striker-fired fire control unit to keep trigger pulls consistent. Despite showing serious promise, the STX mysteriously withdrew from the competition before the final verdict. CZ P09 and P07 in the MHS trials. CZ threw their hat in the modular handgun system game with the full-size P09 and its compact sibling, the P07, both pistols built with battlefield durability in mind. The P09 had already earned a reputation in action pistol competitions thanks to its hefty 19+1 capacity in 9mm. It came with a double-action, single-action trigger setup and a shortened hammer. The smaller P07 joined the lineup as well, both models offering interchangeable backstraps for different hand sizes. But here's the catch. While they had manual safeties, they lacked the true grip and frame modularity the military was after. In the end, CZ pulled back and never officially submitted a contender. Smith & Wesson MP9. Smith & Wesson's M and P9, a favorite among police departments and competition shooters, made a strong showing in the MHS competition. This striker-fired, polymer-framed pistol brought flexibility to the table with ambidextrous controls and a Picatinny rail ready for optics or lights. Buyers could choose a manual thumb safety, and the pistol came with swappable backstraps to fit a wide variety of hands. Even with its great reputation, the M and P9 didn't quite hit the modularity requirement the Army wanted, so Smith & Wesson backed away from the race. Beretta M9A3 and APX. Beretta entered the fight with the M9A3, essentially a modernized upgrade of the well-known 9. It made sense financially since it shared a lot of parts with the standard service pistol. Still, the Army wasn't impressed and dismissed it quickly. The double-action, single-action trigger system that once made the 9 a classic wasn't the answer this time. The military wanted a more consistent trigger pull. On top of that, the M9A3 didn't have a compact variant and lacked true modularity. After that flop, Beretta rolled out the APX, a striker-fired pistol designed specifically for the MHS trials. With its removable chassis, customizable frame shells, and a takedown process that doesn't require pulling the trigger, the APX checked nearly every modularity box. You could add a manual safety, swap backstraps, and even had a loaded chamber indicator. The only real strike? It was brand new in 2016, with zero military track record. FN 509. FN America showed up with the 509, an evolution of their FNS9 Compact. This striker-fired pistol ditched the manual safety and came standard with 3-dot glow sights. Its external extractor doubled as a chamber indicator, while a cold hammer-forged barrel and interchangeable backstraps made it both rugged and adaptable. Add an aggressively textured grip and fully ambidextrous controls, and you've got a well-rounded sidearm. Still, despite the solid engineering, the 509 didn't make it to the last round. Glock 19X. When it comes to duty pistols, Glock has been the gold standard since the 1980s. Known for their bomb-proof reliability, they've been issued around the world to cops and soldiers alike. The Glock 19 compact yet battle-proven shared parts across generations and variants, making it a powerhouse choice. The 19X entered the MHS contest with interchangeable backstraps, though they didn't change grip size much. Its weaknesses? A lack of true modularity, no factory manual safety, and a takedown process that forces you to pull the trigger, something the Department of Defense wasn't thrilled about. How Sig sealed the deal. During the 17 trials, all eyes were on Glock. The Glock 19 techs had excellent marks in finish, trigger, ergonomics, and sights. But Sig Sauer wasn't content to watch from the sidelines. They brought in a tuned P320 that matched Glock's performance blow for blow, with two big advantages. First, they cut the slide for optics and used a standard Picatinny rail, exactly what the US military preferred over Glock's European-style rail. Second, the serialized part wasn't the frame, it was the fire control unit. That made the 320 almost infinitely modular, since you could swap frames, slides, or grip modules without replacing the gun itself. Sig also offered two models right out of the gate: the full-size version that became the M17 and the compact variant that was adopted as the 18. The 17's longer barrel boosted accuracy, while the 18's shorter slide made it handier for close-quarters carry. And then came the knockout punch: the price. Sig underbid Glock by about $100 million for a massive military contract. That kind of cost savings is impossible to ignore. With performance on par with Glock and a much lower price tag, the decision was clear. That's how Sig Sauer walked away with the win. The fallout from the Army's decision. The pistol trials stirred up plenty of heat. Both Glock and Sig Sauer were supposed to face a second round of brutal evaluations, including a 22,500 round torture test. But that never happened. Sig locked down the contract before the full gauntlet was run. The reason? They came in with a cutthroat price. Glock wasn't having it and filed a formal protest with the Government Accountability Office, but the challenge was shut down almost immediately. To add more drama, Steyr Arms out of Austria accused Sig of ripping off their design, but by the year 2020, the courts tossed that claim in the trash. Now here's the rub: plenty of shooters believe the US Army flat out chose the wrong pistol. Back when Glock first hit American soil, the critics were skeptical about that polymer frame and the lack of an external safety lever. But Glock's safety system is no gimmick. It layers three mechanisms: the trigger safety, the partially cocked striker, and the firing pin block. Together, those features earned shooters' trust. The Sig P320, on the other hand, uses a striker safety but skips the trigger safety altogether, which makes negligent discharges far more likely. Sig was forced to redesign the trigger after customers discovered the gun could fire when dropped at certain angles. Fast forward to the back half of 2023, and there was a viral video of a police officer's P320 discharging inside the holster without the trigger ever being touched. That clip lit up the internet, fueling arguments that the 320 is inherently unsafe. In my view, Sig should take a page from Glock and add a trigger safety, but they probably won't, because doing so would basically admit their pistol has a fundamental flaw. The modularity, Mirage, and the cost debate. Sig loves to brag about the modularity of the P320, but when you run the numbers, it's not the cost cutter it pretends to be. In the US, the serialized component is legally the gun. Sig put the serial number on the fire control unit, so everything else, the grip frames, slides, and barrels, can swap around it. Glock can't play that game because their serial numbers are on the frame itself. Instead, they built the Glock 19X, combining the 17's full-size grip with the shorter slide and barrel of the 19, an elegant hybrid of shootability and carry comfort. Here's the math. Let's say you buy a Glock for $600. Pick up all three frame sizes and you're out $1,800 total, but you've got three complete pistols ready for three different shooters. A Sig P320 runs about $650, and adding compact and subcompact grip modules tacks on another $700. That's $1,350 in total, which looks like a $450 savings. But you only own one serialized fire control unit, meaning you really have just one pistol that changes clothes. With Glock, that extra $450 buys two more fully functional sidearms. That's not just more value, it's more firepower in the hands of the squad. Final thoughts. Between the drop fire issues, the questionable safety design, and the illusion of savings, I honestly believe the Army should have gone with Glock over Sig. And for the record, this isn't fanboy talk. We've criticized Glock plenty of times, especially for Gaston's arrogance in refusing to innovate. But in this contest, Sig's win looks like a mistake. What do you think? Was the P320 the right pick? Or does the Glock 19X still come out on top? Let us know where you stand.